We're in the heart of conference play here, so I know we told Coach Sellers when we did our preseason episode we'd have him back on at conference time. So, Coach, thanks so much for coming back on.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's start with this. I know when we spoke in the preseason, we talked about how you were really challenging your team with the out of conference schedule that you had put together. I mean, you guys played a really tough non-conference and did really well in that non-conference. What impressed you the most about your team during that stretch to start the season here?
Yeah, in the non-conference, we just, like I said before, we got a lot of older guys, and the four-year seniors have been around for a long time. So we, opened up with Providence in a really good game that we led for, 30 plus minutes of the game. And we made a couple mistakes down the stretch, and they got us at the end of the game. But, we did a pretty good job, and it's because of the maturity, the older guys, and then we carried that over. We went to St. Joe's on the road, and we beat those guys, and we beat UMass on the road, UMass Lowell at home,
Yeah.
Binghamton at home. So we had some really good non-conference wins, and primarily it's just a group of older guys who understand how to play, and for the most part, they don't get rattled. Teams make a run at us, or we have a bad stretch. We can weather that storm and come back and finish out the game.
As you look to conference play, I know you're a few games into things now. What are a couple areas you're looking to see your team improve upon as you head down this stretch here?
Well, I think we're shooting almost 47, 48% from the field, but we're still not shooting the three ball great. And so we want to make some open threes. I think we run good offense. We get paint touches. We get the ball moving around a lot, the perimeter. If we can make a couple more kick out open threes, I think it would really help our offense. Defensively, we've been doing a pretty good job. Again, we can throw almost anything at these guys. They've seen, every type of offense, so they can adjust on the fly. We can make adjustments in game. In the first half, I've had, we at St. Francis, PA, we had a certain coverage we were doing with ball screens, and Devontae Sweatman comes in the huddle and says, "Coach, I think we should do this because it'll take this away or whatever." And we changed the coverage on the fly,
Yeah.
and it's those older guys. So defensively, we've been really good. Offensively, we've been pretty good. If we could just shoot it a little bit better, I think that would really help us.
I'm curious because I think for the first time in a while at Central, there are some elevated expectations for your team. You go out, perform really well in the non-conference, get off to a good start in conference play. How do you kind of keep the team level and not get too high on themselves? Knowing that for a lot of these guys, this is their first time being in a position where, Central's talked about as the favorite to win the conference and things like that.
Oh yeah, that's what, like, we don't get too high and too low. So we go in, like yesterday we win the game. We call it the dog bowl of the game, the dog of the game.
Mhm.
Roll out, we celebrate, we jump around or whatever. And then I say, fellas, it's over. Enjoy, have a good time. But we got another opponent coming up on Friday, Lemoyne, that we have to get prepared for. So we try not to get too high and too low. Last week in practice, we lost two at home. We
Yeah.
lost Wagner and LIU, two really hard-nosed, tough playoff atmosphere type games. And we came into practice and we talked about it, but I said, fellas, we're not going to get down in the tank and not let us affect our practice. Let's have a good week of practice. Let's get prepared for the FDU game. And so we try to keep these guys even keeled as much as possible. And now with school starting back from the new
Mhm.
semester starting, the students are going to be around, so they're going to hear, "Hey, you're doing great. You're the best thing since sliced bread." And I constantly remind them, "Hey, you're only as good as your last game, so you have to continue to work." So and these guys, the older guys know it, so they keep the younger guys grounded, which has been really good for us.
Looking to add some local flavor to your lineup? Martin Rosals is the MVP of your game day spread and a slam dunk for any occasion. Proudly made in hard-hit New Britain, their famous kielbasa and hot dogs have been a fan favorite for over 96 years. You can find their products in grocery stores across the state or have them delivered directly to your home court, coast to coast, via martinrosal.com. Take your taste buds to the championship and go support a Yukon fan-owned business. I know you've talked a lot about these older guys, and we talked about in the preseason too that you have a lot of these veteran leaders. How do they help it, and how do you use them during a stretch like you just had when you lost two at home in conference play to kind of keep the team going and keep fighting there?
Yeah, it's primarily those guys. We do our thing. We talk about, hey, fellas, we got to come back. We got to work hard in practice. But when those guys are in the locker room with the team by themselves, I know for a fact that those four older guys, the four-year guys, and some of the other guys who are seniors are saying and doing the right thing. So when they're talking amongst themselves, I got total trust in these guys that they're saying and doing the right thing to keep us pushing forward. And like I said, the four-year guys, they all at some point come to my office one-on-one and suggest something in practice or, hey, what about this in the game? So it's a luxury having those guys around because they're like coaches.
Yeah. You talked about the two at home. You go that you had lost. You go yesterday and go beat Fairleigh Dickinson on the road. Now you've got almost about a week before your next game. How do you utilize this week? And how big was it to get that win heading into kind of a week off of games here?
Yeah, we needed that win because we had two bad, I mean, like a tough week. We had a tough, I said it
Yeah.
last week, fellas, there's no more, no less. It was a tough week for us. Let's wipe it off. Let's get to the practice and let's build to get this next game, the FPU game. And we did a good job of building. We talked about that in the locker room after the game. And now, it's a stretch where we don't play the Friday. So we got a lot of days off. It's going to be a big snowstorm
Yeah.
tonight or tomorrow. So we're gonna get in the gym tomorrow, and like we talk about shooting, we want to shoot. So we're gonna get in there and shoot some. We've been trying to add a little something every week to our offense. So we might add a play or two to our offense that they can use in the next game. And then we're gonna that's gonna be our Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday we're gonna really go in full speed. The practices have been a lot shorter now. We've been going hard but shorter, so we'll go full speed, short practice to stay sharp. And the day before the game, we'll just prepare for our opponent.
How do you manage? I'm curious because you're talking about the practices there in those shorter but faster and harder practice. How do you manage it all during conference play, especially where I know this week's a weird week where you don't play again until Friday. We're talking on Sunday here, but usually kind of having two or three games within the week there.
Yeah, yeah. It is hard to manage that. And again, I know I sound like a broken record, but the older guys, they know what it takes. So we tell them some days we'll go in and we're just gonna play. They love to play. So
Mhm.
without the drills, we might do some warm-up drills to get them going, and then we'll play and we'll coach through the play. And so that helps us. It's like their second game of the week when we play. So we'll have a day where we just get up and down and play, and they like that. We keep the score. We do the media timeouts and the whole thing, so it's pretty good. And they're real competitive, so they'll go at each other. So that really keeps us sharp as we go prepare for that Lemoyne game on Friday.
Yeah, I know the league has changed a little bit. You have some new teams there in the NEC this year. How have you adjusted to some of these new teams coming into the league?
Yeah, I mean, since we've been here, the league has, with college sports in general,
Yeah,
for the teams jumping around from conference to conference, when it happens in the Power Five or the Power Four, it's going to trickle down to us. So we get teams jumping in and out.
yeah,
So you just have to, watch a lot of film and get prepared for teams that are coming in. Like Mercyhurst is a new team. They
yep,
have a really, really tough style, the way they guard and they could really mess you up. So we had to really prepare for that. So we did a good job at Mercy as we played well defensively. So our defense has been our calling card. It really helps us. And then the offensive part versus their defense, we had to really concentrate. And again, the older guys can take advantage of it. They know how to make plays when things are kind of awkward. So.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll wrap with this one. I know you mentioned the threes here, but if we're gonna say, come March that Central is the NEC champ, the regular season champ there, what's like the one thing outside of the shooting you want to see that you think would differentiate your team and make them a champ?
I would. That's a great question, Jared. We've been saying all year defense and rebounding is who we are. Um, and I think we can score if we can make a couple, outside perimeter shots, and continue to share the ball like we do. I think they'll give us an opportunity to give to be in that game, to be in that championship game, if we can defend and rebound and make some open shots.
All right, awesome. Well, Coach, we'll again chat towards the end of the season there, and hopefully be talking some conference championships, March Madness, all that fun stuff. So, Coach, I really appreciate the time.
Thanks, Jared. Appreciate it, man.